Hey everybody, welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of Scotty's Record Shop. On this particular episode, we're going to look at somebody who has a fairly extensive discography. 18 studio albums covering, well, two actual bands and then his quote-unquote solo stuff. Some interesting stuff in here. This is somebody that I looked on YouTube and it's like I wanted to see other people's rankings. There weren't that many, or at least very good ones anyway. So hopefully we'll change that, won't we? Artist, as you already know by the thumbnail and the title, we're going to look at Bob Seger. Started recording about 1960. Well, really, there's some recordings of him that no one knows where they are, but from the early 60s actually. But really started recording in 65ish or so. There's a great compilation. I'll throw this out now, which is this, which covers a band he was in. Primarily, this is all Lost Heard stuff from 66 to 67, early 68. A really good compilation, and this is coming from an artist who, and I will get this right out, right at the beginning, and this may ruffle a few feathers, especially his, because not like he's going to watch this video. If you are, by the way, hi Bob. Bobby's done a really lousy job of managing. Well, maybe that's not the right word. From a financial point of view, he's tight. He's good with his money. And because of that, he has not reissued a lot of his music. A lot of his music is out of print, and I'm not even sure how he really. I don't know if this just kind of timed out as far as copyright or something, and that's how this got released. The way he views his early catalog, or chooses not to, I'm not even sure if he really was overly happy about this. If you know that he sanctioned this and everything, then let us know in the comments. That would be great. But his attitude is his early catalog doesn't exist. We don't want to talk about it. I've heard interviews of him where callers have literally said, "Look, can we talk about your early albums, your really early albums, and why they're not?" I mean, direct like that. Why they're not available? And he would avoid the question. He'd go off talking about his motorcycle, something like he just does not want to go there. So it's his music. So fortunately, we have people that bootleg them. Isn't that nice? It's unfortunate, Bob, but you could be making all this money, but you're letting the bootleggers get it. All right, so let's get into it. 18 studio albums. There's no real hot takes in here, I don't think, anyway. I will say that his latter day material, is, I'm trying to think of a polite word, serviceable. It's okay. It's not horrible. It's listenable. Not overly memorable. He's just kind of, it's just there. I got a chance to see him. I'll get into that when we get to the album, but his latter day stuff is kind of. I'm like a lot of people who grew up in the 60s and 70s in my case. We're fond of the 70s stuff and the early 80s stuff, and obviously that'll be closer to the top. And I mean, even people that weren't around then kind of feel that same way about Seeger stuff. All right, enough of my jabbering. Let's get into it. One of those bootlegs, an album that I understand he's not happy with. Okay, he had just had a very successful album and single with Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, which kind of elevated him to a national spotlight. What came next? We don't know. To this day, he doesn't talk about this either. What the hell happened? The album, I think his worst album, Noah. You're not going to find this. Good luck finding this on vinyl. I think you can still get this on CD. I will say that I found these some time ago on Amazon. These are great because they have bonus tracks. They're really well done. It's not like these were taken off of scratchy vinyl. They were taken off of vinyl, but they sound excellent. I also have this on vinyl. I have all of the early stuff. on vinyl, and it cost a pretty penny for me to get when I did. But anyway, the weird thing about this album is he was on the move. His record company supposedly decided they didn't like his singing. They wanted another member of the Bob Seger system to sing. So Bob doesn't sing on all of this, and it hurts this album. The songwriting hurts this album. The title track got issued as a single, Noah. A lot of people hate that song. It makes me chuckle. It's so, I don't want to say it's so bad that it's good, but it's just a stupid song, and it's just kind of, it just makes me chuckle. But I'll tell you, Death Row on this, killer, heavy duty, psych, late 60s kind of psych. This came out in what, 69 maybe, 70, early 70, 69. Anyway, if you can find it and you pick it up and you're a completist, okay, there you go. So that's my 18th, my least favorite Bob Seger. Okay, now we're going to get into a chunk of that latter day, serviceable, not like this record. If you put this on, you may clear the room because some of it is just so, not good. These albums that are coming up here from the 90s and 2000s, they're not going to clear the room. People will go, they're pleasant enough. They're okay, but so it's a mystery. My least favorite later day Seger stuff. And really, these almost could all. There's like 4 or 5 here. They could all almost be interchangeable. But it's a mystery. It's okay. It's just okay. I mean, looking at this stuff, there's some okay tracks on here, but there's nothing that's like, wow, that is just an amazing friggin' song. Really. None of that here. But if you like Seger, and you know, you can get these fairly cheap. I mean, I picked a lot of these up at my local Bull Moose. We have Bull Moose up here. Because I didn't have them. This was about 2 years ago, and I'm like, I really should finish my Seger collection. So I picked them up. I reviewed them again and went, okay, that was the last time I listened to them. But anyway, it's a mystery. 17. 16. Face the Promise. Again, it's a little better. I mean, again, I don't want to keep using the word serviceable, so I won't. But it's listenable. There's nothing like cringeworthy on any of these, you know. And honestly, other than Noah, these albums are all okay to me. They're all okay. Even the least favorites, like these, are okay. But I'll be, would I put this on before I put any of the 70s or early 80s stuff on? No, absolutely not. But Face the Promise. It's a cool cover with him on a bike. Him on his Harley. Kind of keeping with that motorcycle theme, sort of. But it's just kind of this is his thing, you know. It's just ride out. Again, it's a little better. But I promised I wouldn't use the word serviceable. So there you go. Pleasant. We'll use the word pleasant. For this one, we'll call it pleasant. Okay? Okay. Again, I paid $6-7 for this a couple of years ago. But you know, it's okay. It's not horrible. That would be 15, 18, 17, 16. Yes, this would be 15. Right out. 14. This is a little better. We're getting into little better now. I saw him on this tour down in Boston. And this was great because this was before the inevitable shift in his vocals, you know, where a lot of stuff had to be down-tuned. He still put on a really good show. Even in the end, I've seen videos. You know, it wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, he was in the 70s. He couldn't screech like he used to, but... You know, but I saw him on this tour, which is The Fire Inside. And he could still do it pretty damn good. and he had a great backing band with him. Um, he had the Silver Bullet band. This is a little better. I would play this a little more. Uh, I've had this for a while because it was like when it came out, I bought it, and it was like, okay, this is pretty damn good. It's all right. But great live show. I was so glad to get to see him before he stopped touring. And honestly, no offense, but before the voice kind of aged. You know what I mean? So anyway, number 14, The Fire Inside. Now I've crapped all over his latest stuff, saying it's serviceable, it's pleasant, this. I'm going to talk about his last album. I like this album. I think it was, something to go out on. He did a pretty damn good job, And it's funny because there's a young picture. The album is called I Remember When. It's funny because this is when he was young and he was a badass, and yet here he is, his very aged, husky voice. But I think that with these songs, he utilized it really well. He was never like some artists who put out records. It's like, you really need to retire. You need to let it go. I don't think anybody ever really said that about Seger, even though his vocals, his voice aged. I think he did a really good job on this. I remember when this first came out, and my first initial thought was, I'm not getting it because it's like the other ones, the other recent albums. And I whatever it was, Spotify did or Amazon Music, whatever I was at the time, listened to it. I went, this is not bad. And really, I'll be honest with you, this inspired me to go back and get like all of these other ones, because like, okay, well, maybe I should really give them another chance and finish the catalog since I have the last album. We didn't know this was the last album at the time, but anyway, this was number 14, number 13. And I Remember When. Hey. Moving onward, upward into the 80s now. Some people, there were a couple reviews I've seen of Seger, and people kind of poop on this record, and it's 80s. People are like, there's a version of what we're talking about, before I get into it too far, Like a Rock. That's a great song, first of all. It got overkilled with that truck commercial, okay? Yeah, it got overplayed. So people are like, we really didn't, this one reviewer, we didn't really need the version of Fortunate Son, cover of Fortunate Son. I like it. I think he rocks it out pretty damn good. And it fits him. Him doing kind of CCR stuff kind of fits him. Just did. I remember when this came out, I've got the album. I bought the album when it came out. Neighbor of mine, I was living in New Hampshire at the time, down in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And he got it first, and you need to hear the new Seger album. And at this point in time, I was like, okay. So I went over to his apartment and maybe engaged in some adult activity. At the time, I was like, early 20s. We had a little bit of fun. We had a little bit of a party, and we listened to this. And it was like, this is okay. So a couple days later, I went down to a store called the Music Smith, which is long gone now in Portsmouth. Maybe if you lived in Portsmouth. Back in the 80s, remember the Booksmith and the Music Smith. Anyway, number 13, I think. Lucky 13. Wait a minute, let me just deal with this here. You know what? Math was never my strong suit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 11. It's number 11. Don't mind me. All right. Bob Seger System. This was from 1970. And this was a pretty decent album. The one thing on here that I didn't like was the single, which was River Deep, Mountain High. Why? They tried rocking it out. It's not a rock and roll song. It just doesn't, lyrically, it just never worked. I know a lot of people like it. We're talking about the album Mongrel. Another in this case bootleg. These were really really well done. I'm just letting you know here. Um, they're all silver discs, right? They look really isn't that shiny. They're not little home jobby done. I think these all came out of Japan, to be honest with you. Because Seger just doesn't. He ignores this crap. And there's some bonus stuff on here as well that's pretty decent. But anyway, River Deep Mountain High does not do it for me. But this is, other than that, it's a pretty damn good album. They're rocking hard. This was kind of after, this was after Noah, right? And I mean, I think a lot of people were writing them off. I'm really surprised at Capitol Records, because that's where they were at the time, didn't write them off, but they came back. And Seger took control again, and you get a good record here. A nice late 60s, for the most part, hard rock album. So that is number 10, I believe. Yeah, that's number 10 on my little list of Bob Seger. It is Mongrel. Number 9. I've not done a Beatles review yet. And I know that's, I'm trying to figure out, I'm not going to get into exactly too much. So I originally was thinking about doing looking at the U.S. catalog. But I may just blow through the entire, just the canon stuff, And that might be in a couple weeks, maybe. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll be next week. Who knows? Come back. Anyway, number 9. You can tell the coffee's kicking in this morning. Bob Seger 7. This is not a bad album. Again, this is pretty. The thing, he was so close to fame. He with Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, he was there, and then they I think they ruined it for him. And it took him years to come back. And this has a song, Get Out of Denver, which is a great friggin' song. And was getting airplay across the country. So he was starting to pick up a little bit here in 1974. This is a pretty good rock and roll album. Again, I have not looked on Amazon lately, and I know with Discogs is really makes it a little difficult to get. We'll call them unofficial releases. Discogs makes it a little harder. Amazon, it slips by sometimes. So if you can, check Amazon, maybe you can get some of these. Don't remember where I got this. I mean, it's a. I'm not even sure if this is actually a boot or not. I don't think this is a bootleg, actually. I think this was officially released by Capitol. And, of course, this is a silver disc as well. But anyway, not a bad album. A good mid-70s rock and roll. He wasn't quite there yet, but he was getting there. Okay. Distance. This has highs and lows. Now, Shame on the Moon, I never liked that song. I don't know why. It's like, it's supposed to be, it's everything that it's coming across to be. Kind of like a cowboy, kind of riding on your horse, kind of shame on the moon. Just riding through the desert, kind of a little, all if you're a guitar player, you know what cowboy chords are, right? Nothing fancy, nothing. And lyrically, it's very, very basic. So I don't know why, it just never clicked with me. It was the first single off here. Even Now is a great song. A few other things on here that are spectacular. Okay, but this is really kind of, we're in that era where it's like there's some great stuff and then there's some okay stuff for me. All of these mid-tier kind of albums, that's what that is for me. So and this is kind of falls into that, it's kind of a mid-tier thing. I remember when this came out. This came out after Against the Wind, and Against the Wind, you'll see, is up higher, much higher. So I had high expectations for this, and it was okay. It was okay. So anyway, The Distance. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, we got 7? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 more. So I'm counting wrong. Don't pay attention to the counting system here. I gave up. Apparently the coffee is not working that good. My next. This is an interesting album. Hard to find. And when I was originally seeking this out, people were like, why do you want it? It sucks. And I was like, because I want it. Because I like early Bob Seger. And they're like, oh, it sounds like just a bunch of demos and stuff. It's terrible. Brand New Morning. I paid a damn good price. Damn good penny for not for this CD, but for the actual piece of vinyl. This was in print and then out of print. Just like that. So this came out in 71. And it's been basically out of print since 71. So 55 years. Thankfully, we do get this bootleg with some bonus tracks here, I believe. Yeah, this is just Bob Seger with either a piano or a guitar. Pretty much. That's all there is on this. And it's wonderful. There's a song on here called Sometimes. Just him, very mellow with a guitar. So, even though it's very mellow and very low key, it's still so passionate. Brand New Morning, rhythmically is a little weird, but is a really uplifting, great song. There's a song about railroads on here. Good song, good driving kind of acoustic song. Like I said, if you can find the CD of it, don't even bother trying to find the album because you're going to be paying like $150, $200. I mean, I didn't pay that much for mine because I found it years ago, but it was hard to find, and I paid a damn good price for it, and I don't regret it. But if you want to get this CD again, check where you get CDs. Again, this was a silver disc. Really happy to get that, and yes, it's from vinyl, but it's a damn good sounding piece of vinyl. Damn good sounding piece of vinyl. Brand New Morning. Bob Seger, 1971. This is solo. About as solo as you can get. This is where his fortunes really kind of started to pick up a little bit, I think. I'm not sure if this is even in print anymore, but like I said, his albums, he's done such a terrible job of keeping things in print. Beautiful Loser. Beautiful Loser. This, when with Live Bullet came out, which is really, if you want to hear Bob Seger in their prime. What the hell is it here? Dropping everything here. Live Bullet. Killer stuff. There's the songs on this that ended up going into Live Bullet, they refined and they did better. Catmandu was issued as a single and it charted. He's kind of getting his fame back a little bit. Well, he's kind of picking up momentum here, and it's thankfully he'd only been in the business for 10 years up to this point, so it's about damn time. Not a big hit, but still a really enjoyable album. Really enjoyable album for Seger. Beautiful Loser. These next ones some people will consider a hot take. They would put this album higher. And the reason that I don't, even though the songs on this are fantastic, it's kind of like the first three Kiss albums. The definitive versions of those songs you find on Kiss Alive, for me personally speaking. But saying that, I still love the first three Kiss albums. See my Kiss ranking video down somewhere. I don't know. Search it on my Facebook page, not Facebook, but the YouTube page, and you'll see it. I highly regard those albums, but the versions are better. Same thing with this. This is why some of these albums here, which you'd think would be lower, are where they are. What a killer cover for this album. Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. Now this was originally issued on a CD, but this is a bootleg because, again, isn't that cool how they did that? Again, a silver disc. Fabulous. This has got some bonus tracks too, which the original Capitol album didn't have. You can stream this, I believe. This is still streamable, but I don't think you can buy it anymore. You might be able to, but I think it's out of print. Did I say that Seger's done a shitty job of managing his catalog? Maybe I haven't. There. Because he has. It's so frustrating for people who really would benefit from his catalog being revitalized. He just doesn't want to spend the money, although putting stuff on a streaming service doesn't cost you hardly anything. But whatever. Anyway, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, 1969. Great psych rock music. The highlights, a couple of obviously Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, which is a fake stereo, by the way. If you get the album, I prefer the 45 because it's in mono and it's meaty sounding. It just on all the reissues of this, rather be on vinyl or on CD, they put the kind of fake stereo version where it sounds a lot thinner. Still a great song though. 2 Plus 2 Is, which is a anti-war song, killer song. If you can find the 45, which took me years to find, the Record Store Day issued a 45 of 2 Plus 2 several years ago, and people were excited because the mix is totally different on the 45 until they bought the 45 and realized it was just the stereo version from here, which was a rip-off. But if you can find the original 45, which I have over on the 45 wall in another room, get it. It's different, punchier, just great. But this is a good album here. 1969. And Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. This one some people may put a little lower. I like this album. I really, really do. The album back in 72. Another one that is a bootleg. Back in 72. This has got the original version of Turn the Page, the studio version of Turn the Page, and I believe this has got Rosalie on it. Great song. It's funny because Sirius XM, there's a couple channels on Sirius XM, satellite radio, that play Turn the Page, and they play the studio version, and they get it from a bootleg. Don't tell anybody, because it's not commercially available. Seeger, even though it's freaking being played on satellite radio, they have to resort to this, to a bootleg. So, Bob, dude, wake up. Hello? Wake up, buddy. Back in 72, which, by the way, came out in 73. Just saying. A really good album. Again, on YouTube. You can listen to this on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's up there in its fullness. Don't look on streaming services. You're not going to find it. Smokin' OPs. Mostly a cover album. 1971? 72? 72, I think. I think this was an original Capitol issue, I believe. Yeah, this is an original Capitol issue. This was issued for a while. Out of print again, I believe. Great freaking rock and roll album. Yes, a lot of covers. He even does. They released "If I Was a Carpenter," which you'd think, kind of like, "River Deep, Mountain High." Why would you do that song? He really does it justice on here. He really does, and I have that 45 as well. Not that it's any different than what's on here. I can't figure out why the hell that wasn't a hit. Killer Hammond B3 organ sound on it, I'll tell you. Just they rock it. They do a great job. Bo Diddley, there's just they put what the hell was the name of the song here? Heavy Music, which was from the earlier, from the Lost Herd, I believe, stuff. But they tack that on here too, and I'm glad they did. It's a great song, but great album. Smoking OPs. Top three. No surprise. Maybe a surprise in the order, but no surprise, right? I mean, these are his biggest albums. Albums that I grew up with. I got when they came out. It is what it is. Night Moves. People might put this at number one. The only reason that I don't put this at number one is because towards the end, the last couple songs on side two, if you're thinking vinyl, the last couple of songs are, they don't match up to the rest of the album. I mean, all of side one and half of side two, vinyl wise, is just freaking fantastic. Then the last couple songs are like, well, okay, they're okay. They're not bad. They don't match up to the level of this. So my third favorite, this is the album that broke him. This is the album that broke him, and I'm glad it did. Case is kind of all nasty. Got this on vinyl as well. This is one album that you can still get. We're blessed that he actually allows us to still buy this one. So, 1976? Early 77, I can't remember exactly. Third favorite Bob Seger album, Night Moves. Second favorite Bob Seger album. I really like this album. Bob wanted he purposely went into the studio to craft an album because he felt like, I'd been in this business for 15 years. I want a number one album. I deserve a number one album. And he got another one, a number one album with Against the Wind. First of all, the cover is freaking gorgeous. Just a wonderful cover. And no disappointment. Some people in reviews poo-poo on this. There's not a song on here that I don't like. This album through and through, there's not like some songs that are pretty good. Like this, like I said, you get on towards the end of it, and it's okay. I certainly listen to it all the way through, but they're my least favorites. When you get into these last two, there's nothing. It's all top-notch Bob Seger. And the Silver Bullet Band, even though it wasn't all Silver Bullet Band on this album, but we won't get into that. You can look that up. Number one album for him. Some people talk about Her Strut. It's like, oh, that's lame. I think it's a killer song. Betty Lou's Getting Out Tonight. That's typical Bob Seger. It's kind of, but it's great. So my second favorite Bob Seger album, Against the Wind. First favorite Bob Seger album, I don't want to say it's above and beyond everything else because the last three, they're all fantastic. But Stranger in Town. The only drawback on this album, even though it's a good song, is Old Time Rock and Roll. I am so sick of that song. If I choose to play this album, I don't skip it. But like if I'm listening to Sirius XM radio or something like that, and I have the ability to change it, I do, because I'm just sick of that song. It's a good song. This is a great album. Great. Starts off with Hollywood Nights. I don't even mind We've Got Tonight. I mean, I think it's a sweet look. We're bored. Let's just have some fun. as adults, yada yada yada, kind of song. It's just to me this was it. I mean, really the last three, but these two, pinnacle of his career, really. And yes, I would have to put in Night Moves, but my favorite Bob Seger album. This was a long video, by the way, wasn't it? Sorry, me bad. Anyway, or as one of my daughters would say, my youngest daughter would say, even though she's like 22, womp womp. Um, my favorite Bob Seger, Stranger in Town. So, as always, I appreciate you putting up with this, these silly videos. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies. What the hell? Let everybody know that Scotty's Record Shop is around and on YouTube. I've been here for years, but just a really slowly growing channel. And like I always say, I'm not looking for fame and fortune, which is a damn good thing because I'm not getting it. Not from here. But I do sincerely appreciate each and every one of you who watch these silly things. Okay? Until next time, everybody. Peace and love.